My name is Miss Hannah. I'm from the Bala Library, and today we are going to do some activities and experiments with colors. So last time I was here, we did some experiments with water, but today we are actually still going to use water, but we are going to use the water to create some colors. So let's get started. So first we are going to actually do another experiment, and for this experiment we're going to see if we can separate the colors out of the color black. So for this experiment it has super simple items that you need. You'll need a coffee filter, just one, a black marker, and for the marker it can't be washable and it also can't be permanent. It needs to be just a regular black marker. And the final thing we need is a mug with some water. And you don't need a little bit of water. You see I only filled mine to about here. So let's see if we can separate the colors out of the color black. So to separate colors out of the color black, again we need our 3 items. And the first thing we're going to do is take our coffee filter and we're going to flatten it. So it's not going to lay perfectly flat. Just try to get it as flat as you can. Then we're going to take our marker, and again it has to be a black marker, not a washable marker, and not a permanent marker. In order to work, it just has to be a regular black marker. And we are going to take the marker and draw a line, just a straight line across on the coffee filter, and you want to do it about 1 inch from the bottom, so about 1 inch from here. So I'm going to put mine about here, just like that. It doesn't have to be super long, just about 1 inch long line, maybe a little bit longer, about 1 inch from bottom. So next you want to take your filter and turn it inside out. So turn it the other way so that the side you drew the line on is now at the back. So this is the inside of the filter, and curl it inward a little bit, like this. Next, we're going to take our water, and we're going to put the filter with the line down in our mug, and you don't want to put the line into the water. You want to start putting the filter into the water, but stop so that the black line is just above the water line. So I'm going to slowly lower it into the mug. And again, you don't want the water to touch the black line. You want it to stay right below it, like that. Now we're just going to wait and watch as the water starts to flow up the filter. So this is going to take a couple of minutes. Just kind of keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't fall down into the water. But you will see the water start to creep up the filter. Let's see if we have anything. Oh, it's moving a little bit. So as it's moving, you should start to see the black line start to pull apart up the filter. And as it does that, it should, doesn't always work, but it should start to separate out into different colors. So as mine is going, I'm seeing the black still, I'm seeing some pink, and I'm seeing some blue. Hopefully you can see this. Hopefully if you're trying at home, it's working. You can kind of see in here, there's the pink, up here is kind of the blackish blue as it separates from the black line and pulls it up the filter. So if it starts to fall a little bit down into the water, that's okay. Let it go up the filter. And then once you think it's gotten pretty far up the filter, turn mine back here a little bit so you can kind of see it separating. Once it's gotten pretty far up the filter and you have lots of colors that are coming out and you think that the water isn't going to make it any further up, it looks like it's kind of stopped after a little while, and take the filter out and let it dry. So I'm going to let this one go for a couple more minutes and we'll see how many colors we can get out of this one. I let my filter sit for about 5 minutes. If you want, you can leave it sit in the mug until it reaches the top of the water reaches the top of the filter. Mine did not get the whole way to the top, so I just ended up taking it out and then I let it dry for a couple minutes. It dries pretty quickly, and once it's dried, I have this. So I have some pink. It starts here, right where I started with my line. It's a little faint up through here, and then I have some brighter pink, I have some orange, I have some yellow, a light blue, and then a darker blue up at the top here. So if you have any guesses as to how this happened, let me know in the comments, and I'll give you a second to think about your guess, and then I'll talk about why this happened. So the black ink in the marker actually contains different colors. It doesn't look like it because it's just a plain black marker, but inside of here there are actually a bunch of different colors because mixing all of these colors together actually produces the color black. And each color is called pigment. So as our water travels up the filter, it carries these colored pigments up the filter with it. So because the pigments in the black marker travel at different speeds and different rates, they separate out as they move up the paper. So the pigments that are smaller and lighter will travel up the filter faster. So that's why we have the blues that are up here. They're the smaller and lighter, and they were able to get up here faster and higher than the other colors. So this process of separating out the different colored pigments is actually called chromatography. And now you can see how colors like this can be made from just black and white. For our second activity, we are actually going to do a craft with colors. So for this activity, you will need a bowl of water, just a bowl with some water, some black construction paper or cardstock, some clear nail polish, some scissors, and then either a plate or a paper towel that you can use to dry what we're going to make. So let's see if we can use these items to create some rainbow paper. So this activity also has some pretty simple items and it's really easy to do, but I'm just going to warn you ahead of time, it does not always turn out. I know I've tried it a couple of times before I started filming this video, and some of my paper turned out pretty well, and some of it, nothing happened at all. So if you don't get it on the first, second, or even third try, that's okay. Just keep going and we'll see if we can figure it out together. So to start, you'll need your black construction paper or cardstock, and I have cut mine into little rectangular strips, and I chose to do this size, but it really doesn't matter. You don't want to do probably a whole big piece of paper unless you have a really big bowl, but you could also just rip it up into designs. You could cut it out into shapes if you wanted to make a rainbow triangle or a heart or a circle. You can cut it into any shape you like, but I am just going to use the strips. So, like I said, this one's pretty simple. You just take your clear nail polish and carefully open it up. Had mine on pretty tight. Open it up and you're going to want to put 1 drop of clear nail polish into the water. And so this kind of has to move a little bit quickly. I found that usually doing it kind of quickly works the best. So you're going to want to put 1 drop into the water, watch it spread and disperse outward, and then put your paper on top of the water. And you can just lay it gently on top, or you can dunk it down in and leave it in for a couple of seconds, and then we'll take it out and put it on the plate, paper plate, styrofoam plate, whatever you have, or paper towel. So let's see if we can do it. So I'm going to try to start with just 1 drop of nail polish, maybe 2 actually, that wasn't a very big one. 2 drops of nail polish. Wait a couple seconds. You can start to see some color in the bowl and dump dunk our paper in there. And again, you can push it down in if you want. You can just leave it sit and then pull it back out. So mine kind of looks like this. And you'll be able to see the nail polish, but hopefully, it's kind of hard to see. You can see a little bit over on this side. Hopefully, you should start to see some colors. Put that one down, and you should be able to actually grab out the excess, and you can put it to the side before you start a new one. So you can kind of see I'm getting some color, especially up in here on my paper. And again, it doesn't always work super well the first time. I'm going to do it again, and it still might not work that well, but we can keep trying. So let's try another one. And it actually just started storming outside, so hopefully it doesn't get too loud. So put a couple drops. Maybe I'll do a couple more drops on this one. If I could get it off. There we go. Okay, let's try this one. This one I'm just going to let float on top of it. I'm not going to push it down in. We'll see what happens with this one. Take it out. And this one did not turn out very well. So let me try to see if I can put it back in. And push it down. Might work better if you push it on. This one doesn't look like too much color, but we'll let it dry and see what happens. Again, I apologize. It is thunderstorming out. It just started. It was very sunny a second ago. So hopefully it's not too loud and you can't hear it too much. So let's try one more, and I'm going to put a couple of drops. It's kind of hard to get off. Let's see. This one did not work out very well either. Let's see if I can add a couple more drops and try again. So hopefully yours are going a little better than mine. And sometimes if you let them dry, they'll turn out nicer than you think. There we go, got some color on this one. So once you are satisfied with the strips that you have, you can let them dry, and it'll take a little while. It shouldn't take too long, but I'm going to let mine dry for about half an hour, and we'll see if they turn out. All of my papers are now pretty much dry, and once they're dry, you can pick them up and see what colors you ended up with. So this is probably my best one. It's actually one of the ones I tried before I started filming the video. The ones that I did during the video actually did not turn out that great. Like I said, this one is kind of hard. It takes a lot of patience, and it doesn't always work out great on the first try, but here it's one with some different colors. And the best way to really see the colors is to actually hold it up to the window on a sunny day, but like I said, it just started storming here, so I'm not going to be able to hold them up to the window because it is very dark outside. Hopefully you can see, like this one didn't turn out at all. There's no color on that one. Again, this is probably my best one. So once you do that, you could take your scissors, you could cut it out, you can hang it by the window so it can catch some light and you can see the different colors. So the reason that this happens is that when you dip the paper into the water, it gets coated with a thin layer of nail polish. So you probably saw in some of the tries, you could see that thin layer develop on top of the water, and you actually kind of want to get your paper into the water before that develops because you want the thin layer on your paper and not just floating in the water. So the rainbow colors that you see on the paper are caused by thin film interference. So you'll notice that the color on the paper actually changes as you tip it back and forth. You'll start to see different shades of the colors. And this happens because light is hitting the paper at different angles as you tip it. And also, the colors of the rainbow will vary with the thickness of the nail polish on the paper. So if you have just a real thin coating, like I have up here, you'll have just very light colors. If you have some thicker, colors, you'll get kind of the more rich, deeper color like you see in the middle of this one. And that's why each piece of the rainbow paper that you make is going to be different and unique. So this is the same kind of thing that happens when oil mixes with water on the road outside on a rainy day. This thin film interference can also be seen in the soap bubbles, like when you're doing the dishes or taking a bath and you see those bubbles and you start to see a rainbow color in the bubbles if they are getting hit at just the right angle with the light. So see if you can look at your paper and find all of the colors of the rainbow. So I don't see much red in mine. There's a tiny little bit up toward the top. I've got some yellow, some green, definitely got some blue, not really any indigo, and I do have some violet through here. So see if you can find all the colors of the rainbow in your paper, and again, when it's dry, you can cut it out into different shapes and display it wherever you'd like. Thank you so much for joining me again today for our activities. Hopefully you were able to get some good colors on your coffee filter and some good colors on your rainbow paper, but if not, keep trying. Like I said, I know the coffee filter is kind of hard, especially if you only have a washable marker. It doesn't work very well. And the rainbow paper, it really just depends on how you do it. I know I tried it a couple of times. Some of the ones I did before this video didn't really work. Some in the video didn't work that well. You just have to keep trying. It really depends on how much of the nail polish you put in, how quickly you put it in. Just keep experimenting with more nail polish, maybe less nail polish, a bigger piece of paper, a smaller piece of paper. Just keep trying. And then if you are able to get some colors, I'd love to see them. So if you could put them in the comments of this video on Facebook, that would be great. I'd love to see what you create. But thank you again for joining me today, and we'll see you guys next Friday for our next activity.